Good luck, Lynn.
Thanks, Bob.
And be good, please.
Yes,
5 o'clock.
So nervous. I really am. The first thing I have to do is I'd like to thank everybody who sat in for me for the last 18 months, knowing that I would be back. It was very nice of all the Gilbert Gottfried and Stiller and Mira and Alan Burke and Curtis and Lisa, all those people. It was so nice of them to just keep the seat warm for me. And, see, all the phones are lighting up already, and I know why. Every one of my neighbors said they were going to call. I've been working this laundromat. So all these people with excessively clean clothes who have nothing to do this morning are going to call up. They stole one of the stories I cut out about everybody's favorite fruits and vegetables. My favorite vegetable is Dan Quayle. Bye! Isn't that what got me in trouble the last time? You know what the least favorite vegetable is? The lime. And next to that, I'm reading from the end, like the least favorite. The lime is the least favorite, then the kiwi fruit. I hate kiwi fruit. Sweet cherries are the third least favorite. Tangerines, pineapples, lemons. It goes apples. I don't like... Bananas are the most popular. I love bananas. Apples, watermelons, orange, cantaloupe, grapes, grapefruit, strawberry, peach. And vegetables, the most popular vegetable is a potato. And then iceberg lettuce, which is, of course, the vegetable that has got not one vitamin in it. There is no use to iceberg lettuce whatsoever. I'm going to be dealing, by the way, you're used to me doing this heavy political stuff. I've cut out all the most important stories for months here. In Muskogee, Oklahoma, this guy was swimming. Now, this really isn't funny because he died, but it is funny. Timothy John Hudson, 27 years old, of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, was swimming in Fort Gibson Lake when his swimming trunks came off. And he was trying to pull his trunks back on. Drowned. That's it. Drowned. He didn't want to be humiliated. He didn't want to have to get out of the water with no swimming trunks. But he did. But he was dead by that time. In Hamilton, Ontario. I love these weird things. I mean, this is like when you know that God says, this is your moment to die. Because it happens in such totally bizarre... I mean, God really has to go out of his way to get people to die this way. These two guys were playing golf. And one golfer got very mad. He hit a lousy shot. He got very angry. I just noticed something even funnier about this, actually. And he hit his golf club against a tree. And the golf club broke in half. And a foot-long section of the club ricocheted into his golfing partner's skull. Now, the guy didn't die, but you know what his partner's name was, who had the piece of golf club embedded in his skull? Rick Pierce. I read this already, and I never noticed the guy's name was Rick Pierce. So, of course, he had to have a golf club embedded in his skull. He had emergency surgery. He was in serious condition after emergency surgery to remove the piece of the golf club that entered his temple and pierced his head, as a matter of fact. This happened at the 14th hole. And they did not release the name of the man that smashed the golf club. I wouldn't want anyone to know that if I did it. So I'm going to be dealing in only the most important stories. You know Gleam toothpaste that they make in Iowa City, Iowa? Well, they've been making toothpaste there for 35 years. And they came up with a new problem this week. They found the remains of a large bird in a vat of toothpaste. Well, it's a good thing they have quality control. You know, you'd be brushing your teeth and say, what are these feathers on my teeth? Somebody was checking, and they found this huge bird. This one bird ruined 180,000 pounds of toothpaste. they're not sure what species of bird it was because they didn't find the whole bird. They just found, I guess, like little pieces of it in Iowa. And they had to flush the system 15 times. Now, that's interesting it says that because the fact is when I heard this on the radio, they said they had flushed the system 12 times. They flushed the system 15 times to make sure all the feathers and other remains were gone. Normal production is removed. And none of the toothpaste, it was half a day's work, none of the toothpaste was shipped out. What else? Arthur Miller. You know Arthur Miller? He's most famous because he used to be married to Marilyn Monroe. He wrote a play called The Crucible, which was about the witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts in 300 years ago. It was 300 years ago, 1691, wasn't it? And they're having, I don't know, why are they having an anniversary in Salem, Massachusetts? This was a terrible thing. You know, people, it's now like you go, oh, you're a liberal. Well, in Salem, Massachusetts in 1691, they looked at these girls and they said, oh, you're a witch. And they had these ridiculous trials where whatever they said proved they were a witch. It's like no matter what you say, you're still a liberal and you're still terrible. So whatever the girls said, I believe in God, they'd say, no, you don't, you're lying. You're really a witch. And then they would burn them at the stake. The Crucible is a good play. If they ever do it, they ought to show it on public television or something. So Arthur Miller is going on November the 14th to unveil the winning design for the memorial to those executed during the 1692 trials. You see, in 1952, when he wrote the play, he draws a parallel between the trials, the Salem witch trials, and the anti-communist McCarthy hearings. So that's why he's going there. Isn't that totally... And we have been waiting. I myself have been waiting 15 years for this. After the first break, I'll take phone calls. That's about another 4 minutes. I haven't talked to you people in 18 months. So be patient. Of course, you haven't gotten to yell at me for 18 months. 15 years ago, Steve Post used to read these articles on an other station about how the killer bees were coming. And, you know, they're going to come any minute. I mean, now, killer bees, now they have killer asteroids. You know, you don't know what to worry. Did you hear that? All the scientists are meeting in San Juan Capistrano because at any moment, while we're sitting here talking, a giant asteroid could hit the Earth. We'll all be dead as doornails. So why even worry about it? Of course, what the scientists want is like some Star Wars thing. They want to, like, mount nuclear missiles on other asteroids or something to shoot I don't know. It's just they want a lot of money. I say if an asteroid's going to hit the Earth, forget about it. Well, the killer bees, it's taken them 15 years to get to the United States. These are like, they may be killers, but they're, like, very slow. You know, more people get shot to death on the streets of New York, you know, than are ever going to die from killer bees in this country. So a gardener in Brownsville, Texas, I don't know, last month or something, I never put the dates on these things, he has the distinction of being the first American person, you know, in this country attacked by killer bees. But he was stung 18 times on May 20th when he was riding in a power mower that disturbed a hive, never disturbed these bees, under a driveway at what else? The Brownsville Park mobile home, you know, where if the tornadoes don't come, the killer bees come. Right? Right. City workers destroyed the colony and removed the hives and sent some of the bees to Maryland on a vacation, I guess. So he only got stung 18 times, and he drove himself to the hospital. It doesn't, what, he drive on the power mower to the hospital? He was sent home from the hospital after being given a pain-killing shot. And he said the bees came by the hundreds, but there'll be more of that. See, I've been saving all this stuff up for months. Albany, this just happened this week in the midst of this budget crisis. In a move, get this, to help strengthen family ties, the state legislature. Now, what would you do if you were the state legislature and you wanted to strengthen family ties in New York? What would you do? You would lower the hunting age to 12, wouldn't you? Well, that's what that... Now, I know all you guys with guns are going to start calling me up. I have to move this. I can't see anybody in the other room. This microphone was in my way. So they lowered the hunting age to 12, not so they can make more people buy hunting licenses or something. The 12-year-olds now have the right to hunt. They also stripped senior citizens of their free hunting and fishing licenses. Did you know that some old people apparently could go hunting without ever paying for a license? Well, not anymore. Not anymore. So now we've got a bunch of angry, 90-year-olds running around with guns because they had to buy a license, and a bunch of crazed 12-year-olds out with the cementing family ties. Well, you can't cement family ties. Strengthening family ties by giving them guns and going out in the woods and killing little bunny rabbits and things. Isn't that sad? No idea what it is. The phone numbers, folks, from New Jersey. I'm so glad it's printed in front of me because who can remember? You know what else has happened to me in 18 months? I can no longer read with my glasses on. So when I read, I have to take my glasses off. And then when I want to, see, what's on the screen, I have to put my glasses on. I tried getting bifocals, and I walked into walls, I fell down steps, and they made me sick to my stomach, $250 right down the drain, because I cannot wear them. So I'm going to be like my father, who, you take them on, take them off. Then you wander around your apartment with your glasses on top of your head looking for your glasses. Something I used to make fun of my parents for doing. See if you wait long enough. From New Jersey, 201-489-WABC. And from Connecticut and New York, it's 212. Well, you don't have to dial that. 563-WABC. All right? Hi, Ruth.
Good morning. Am I talking to Lynn?
Yes, you are.
I'd like to welcome you back.
Thank you.
I heard a taped message on the Bob Grant show repeat in the early morning hours, and I was announcing your return, and I wasn't quite sure that I heard it or did I dream it, and I had to call your station the following day to find out if you actually are back. And they assured me that you are.
I are.
Well, welcome back. I'm asking, Lynn, whether in the interim period during the course of your absence from a visit with your radio audience, your perspective has changed, whether events in your own life and in the national community as well as the international community have changed your perspective somewhat. Have you grown?
Yes, I think I have. I really do. I think that this government is even more corrupt than I thought it was before. So I guess the answer, I'm being facetious, but the answer is no.
Well, actually, you still consider yourself a vigilant watchdog of what is occurring, and you are going to, excuse me,
You
are going to try to bring to the attention of your listening audience those facts which you believe are a betrayal of the foundation.
Yes.
That is the foundation for our nation.
Yes.
Is that right?
Because I'm the real patriot. That's what I always said. I'm the real patriot because I want this country to be the best country that it can be. Thank you so much for calling. We have all these full lines. So I'm probably going to give shorter shrift to people than I usually do. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Okay.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
When your trouble started back then, I wasn't aware of it because I wasn't listening that much. But, with Barry Gray and that whole thing. But I'm glad you're back.
You have the wrong Barry, but it's all right.
Or Barry, what's Barry Farver?
Oh, I don't even want to say.
Barry Farver, okay.
I don't. Poor Barry Gray has his own problems.
So how have you been, all right?
Yeah, how have you been?
Well, I haven't been calling that much. I've been working. I have been listening. I called Bob maybe once in the last year, but we're still, listening to the news and listening to LIB and this and that, and the black and white thing is still bugging the hell out of me,
I wish people in New York City would find something else to talk about. I sincerely do. This city is so obsessed with race. It's perverted. There is something really sick about the obsession with race in this city.
Yeah, well, the media doesn't help. But, you know, there's so much to talk about, so much catching up to do. But, you know, the one thing I wanted to bring up was that racial attack in Detroit where the blacks beat up the white girl at the...
You know, I didn't see that on television.
Well, yeah, well,
and was it in any of the newspapers?
You know, on the news you caught maybe a 5 or 10 second little blip. And to me, that was very, very comparable to Rodney King. Okay, I heard yesterday on Bob's show about holding police up to a higher standard and the death penalty, this and that. But it was the same thing. You know, you had one race beating up another race for racial reasons, I guess. But this thing in Detroit, it was totally ignored by the press.
Well, I have a feeling that it probably wasn't ignored by the press in Detroit.
Well,
I mean, the fact is how many things that happen in some other state are given big coverage in New York. I mean, Rodney King was because it was policemen who beat him up.
Yeah, but it seems like whenever there's, a white attacking a black, it gets a lot more play than if a black... And I don't even know the full story behind this. All I know is it was at some fireworks display or something, but they didn't go into why they were kicking her while she was on the ground and grabbing her at her face and stuff.
I have absolutely no idea. I'll tell you something. The most I've heard about this is listening to talk radio shows with, I think it was on Tom Brokaw, somebody said. I mean, people who just caught it on a national news show. I have no idea what happened, but I would say the reason that they didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it here is because it happened in Michigan, Well, I mean, we're not interested in anything that happens... they hardly mention New Jersey or Connecticut, New York, much less Michigan.
Yeah, but I think another reason was, they don't want to come down on the blacks. They don't want to show that blacks are racist too.
Well,
and
unfortunately, everybody's racist. I'm going to move on, all right? Because there are all these people calling, and I feel like everybody should get a chance, all right?
Just stay
Thank
a long
you.
Time.
Okay,
Bye.
Call again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. See, I'm doing this abruptly. I've forgotten, and I don't know when the next break is. I'm all confused here. Hi, Alan.
Well, hello.
Hi. Oh, you sound like you're right here.
Good. I'm glad I got a good connection.
You got a great connection.
Long time no see.
You still don't see.
Well, as a matter of fact, we've been in contact twice, but I haven't made any bones about it being me. No, that you were you.
Oh, okay.
And well, maybe you might remember, but I'm not going to mention them any because I might come in contact again and not say anything.
Okay.
Goody. So as an Oreo, I just love this new guy who's going to the Supreme Court, possibly. I'm a big fan of his.
Oh, are you really?
Oh, yes, because he extols all the virtues of blending right into society. I like that. I like the fact that you can it doesn't matter what color you are, you can just get in there and just meld right in and let the country go exactly the way George Bush wants it to go. Forget about where you came from. Forget about what you look like. Forget about other people that's connected to you. Who cares about that stuff? Who cares if all the blacks in every part of this country just stays segregated in their own little place, never has any kind of opportunity to move out, never has any kind of chance of getting some kind of equal education? Forget about that. Get a guy up there, let him look black, but don't let him act black. That's what I say as an Oreo.
Well, there's an interesting theory, which is that Bush nominated this guy knowing that he isn't going to be confirmed because Bush really doesn't want this guy on the Supreme Court, that he wants, like, a white conservative. And what Bush... And this fits in. I mean, Bush is very manipulative and very cynical, right? So the idea is that Clarence Thomas will not be confirmed, and then Bush can say, hey, look, I nominated the black guy, the liberals shot him down, and I tried, and then he's just going to then nominate the white conservative who he wanted in the first place, whoever that will turn out to be.
Yuck.
What do you think of that?
I hope we open our eyes is what I hope. I hope we open our eyes wide up, and I'm not speaking for the Oreos anymore. I wish that we would stop eating so much of the garbage that he keeps passing out over that podium of his. I can't stand to listen to I can't even stand to listen to 30 seconds of what he has to say anymore. And this 4th of July has been a travesty for me. Because all this patriotism, showing how great we are that we could bully around 100,000 people who have nothing to do with us, the citizens have nothing to do with us. How many of them did we kill over there in Iraq? I mean, there was one good
An
thing.
awful lot. And there's also that report from Harvard that says that 170,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5 will die in the next year of diseases and malnutrition because of how we have destroyed Iraq. Now, those children are certainly not responsible for anything that Saddam Hussein ever did, and they're going to die.
What I want to hear more about is if there's going to be some aid going over there, because there is one thing great I love about this country. I can't say that I hate this country. I can't say that. I love the fact that we do have the kind of a heart for different nations that when they are in need, we go and try to help. And I'm only hoping that same Red Cross, not the Red Cross, but the American
UN,
contributors to the Red Cross.
The UN is trying to get aid in there for the children. I mean, there's a way, apparently, if you work it right, to circumvent the government so that if money goes there, it will go to the children, it will go to buy medicine and food for the children, and Saddam Hussein won't be able to get his hands on it because, I mean, he is just, he is really just terrible.
I mean,
lest anybody thinks that
I'm no fan of his either, believe me. I think he needs a good crack upside the head. Just one, a therapeutic crack.
That would do it. That would do it. It's time for a break, okay?
Alrighty.
Thanks, Alan. Call again. I'll be here every Saturday. This is Lynn Samuels. This is WABC.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Are you still going to be on the other station? On BAI?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I saw a thing on the news where they're making plans now to bomb Iraq again.
Well, George Bush is rattling his saber, yes.
Well, they're planning strikes on suspected arsenals.
Of nuclear, I
Which
wonder.
means more babies, men, women, children.
I wonder something else.
Yeah.
What bothers me is if there really are nuclear weapons or plutonium or something like that, if you bomb that, then doesn't all that nuclear stuff just go up into the atmosphere? Isn't that like a really dangerous thing to do?
They don't care.
Well, they have to care because the United States Army, the soldiers, are in that area, so if they bomb this stuff and all this nuclear waste or something goes up in the air, it's going to affect the soldiers, our soldiers.
I listen to a lot of radio stations, and I don't think anyone cheered the war more than Christian radio. And that is so perverted. They were invoking the name of God, quoting prophecy, and I was just listening yesterday to this Christian radio station, and now they're talking about how this murdering pimp, Christopher Columbus, was a great man of God, and he was led by prophecy.